Welcome to Little English Studio, the channel where we bring the wonders of history, culture, and the natural world to life, all in clear and simple English. Today, we travel to one of the most extraordinary places on Earth, a land that rose from the sea in fire and smoke, where creation itself can be witnessed step by step. This is the story of Surtsey, the island that was born from fire and sea. In November 1963, something extraordinary happened off the southern coast of Iceland. Fishermen sailing near the Westman Islands saw what looked like smoke rising from the ocean. At first, they thought it was a ship on fire, but soon they realized they were witnessing something much greater, the birth of a new island. Beneath the cold waves of the North Atlantic, about 130 meters below the surface, a volcano had awakened. For thousands of years, pressure had been building deep within the Earth's crust. Now molten magma forced its way upward through cracks in the seafloor, meeting icy seawater. When fire met water, the result was explosive. A column of ash and steam burst from the ocean, reaching nearly 10 kilometers into the sky. The eruption was so powerful that it could be seen from mainland Iceland, over 150 kilometers away. Within hours, the sea began to bubble and boil. Within days, black ash and molten rock piled up above the waves, forming a small, smoking island. Icelanders were astonished. The world was witnessing a process that normally takes thousands of years, the creation of new land, happen in real time. They named the island Surtsey after Surtur, a fire giant from Norse mythology who, at the end of the world, would rise from the depths with a flaming sword to bring fire and renewal. Surtsey's formation was part of the same volcanic system that created Iceland itself, a land shaped by the constant clash of fire and ice. The mid-Atlantic ridge, which runs beneath Iceland, is a boundary between two great tectonic plates, the North American and the Eurasian. They slowly drift apart, tearing the crust and allowing magma from the Earth's mantle to rise. In November 1963, that process came to life before humanity's eyes. The eruption that formed Surtsey lasted almost 4 years, from 1963 to June 1967. During that time, the island grew dramatically. In the first weeks, explosions of ash and steam dominated as seawater met magma. These were called phreatomagmatic eruptions, some of the most violent on Earth. Columns of black ash towered over the Atlantic, and lightning flashed through the dark plumes. The sound could be heard for miles, like thunder echoing over the sea. Eventually, as the volcano built up enough material above the water, the eruptions changed character. With less seawater reaching the lava, the explosions quieted, and lava began to flow more smoothly, hardening into rock. The island expanded layer by layer, reaching about 2.7 square kilometers in size and nearly 175 meters at its highest point. For those who witnessed it, the sight was unforgettable. Journalists, scientists, and photographers rushed to the area. Planes circled overhead to capture images of creation in progress, one of the rarest natural spectacles in modern times. Iceland's government quickly declared the island a protected scientific site, realizing its immense importance. But Surtsey's life was fragile from the start. The sea that had tried to drown it was now working to reclaim it. Waves pounded the soft volcanic ash, eroding the new cliffs. To survive, the island needed hard basalt, solidified lava flows that could resist the ocean's power. Fortunately, Surtsey's final eruptions produced exactly that, sealing its core in a protective shell of stone. When the volcano finally fell silent in 1967, Surtsey was about 2.6 square kilometers, though erosion has since reduced it by half. Yet what remains is stable, and scientists expect parts of Surtsey to endure for centuries. When the last eruption ended, Surtsey was a black desert, hot, lifeless, and silent except for the crashing of waves and the wind. But that would soon change. For biologists, this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to watch how life begins from nothing. Scientists declared Surtsey a natural laboratory. No human settlement, no farming, no construction, just pure observation. Only researchers with special permits were allowed to visit, and even then under strict rules. No seeds, no food scraps, no contamination. The island would evolve entirely on its own. At first, Surtsey seemed utterly sterile. But even in the first year, signs of colonization appeared. Seeds carried by wind and ocean currents began to land on its shores. Most never sprouted, the lava was too hot and nutrient-poor, but a few hardy species managed to survive. Mosses and lichens were among the pioneers, clinging to cracks where moisture gathered. By 1965, just 2 years after the eruption began, the first insects arrived, flies and beetles blown by the wind or carried on driftwood. Then came spiders, birds, and the first tiny flowers. Each visitor left something behind: droppings, carcasses, seeds that enriched the soil. Slowly, nutrients accumulated. Life was building itself from scratch. By the late 1970s, seabirds like gulls and puffins began nesting on the island. Their presence transformed Surtsey. Bird droppings acted as fertilizer, turning patches of black rock into green oases. Grasses and flowering plants flourished, creating micro-ecosystems that attracted even more life. The island became a miniature world, a living classroom where scientists could study how ecosystems develop from the very beginning. Surtsey's isolation has made it one of the most valuable scientific sites on Earth. Since 1964, researchers have conducted long-term studies on its geology, meteorology, and biology. Every visit is carefully recorded, every plant and insect documented. The island shows how landscapes evolve, how erosion shapes cliffs, how volcanic rock breaks down into soil, how plants and animals create balance. It also teaches lessons about resilience. Life, given even the smallest chance, finds a way. One of the most fascinating discoveries was the speed of biological succession. Within only a few decades, Surtsey went from a sterile wasteland to a complex ecosystem with over 60 plant species, 300 invertebrates, and several bird colonies. Scientists could literally measure how nutrients spread, how species compete, and how balance emerges, insights impossible to observe anywhere else. Geologists, too, have found treasures on Surtsey. Beneath its surface lies a perfect record of volcanic activity, a timeline frozen in stone. Core samples taken from the island reveal the transformation of lava into rock and the effects of heat, water, and pressure. What normally takes thousands of years to study in ancient formations can be watched in real time on Surtsey. In 2008, UNESCO recognized this uniqueness by naming Surtsey a World Heritage Site, describing it as an outstanding natural laboratory for the study of ecological and biological processes. Few places on Earth allow humans to witness both the creation of land and the birth of life in such clarity. Surtsey tells a story much larger than itself. It reminds us that the Earth is alive, constantly changing, renewing, and creating. It shows that even from destruction comes life. The same forces that can destroy cities, mountains, and forests also build new ones. The island also challenges us to respect nature's rhythms. By keeping it untouched, Iceland and the global scientific community have preserved one of the world's purest examples of natural evolution. It's a symbol of restraint, proof that sometimes the best way to understand nature is simply to observe. Standing on the cliffs of Iceland and looking southward, you can sometimes see Surtsey on the horizon, small, black, and solitary. From a distance it seems quiet, even insignificant, but beneath its rocky surface lies the heartbeat of the Earth, and on its slopes the delicate footsteps of new life. More than 60 years have passed since that first eruption, and Surtsey still stands, though smaller than before. Waves continue to erode its edges, but the hard basalt core remains strong. Each year a few scientists return, carefully landing on its shores to record changes, collect samples, and observe the continuing evolution of this young world. Surtsey is now home to puffins, guillemots, and fulmars, whose colonies fill the air with sound and life. Mosses, lichens, and grasses cover much of the island's surface, giving it a muted green glow in summer. Beneath the surface, warmth still lingers, a reminder that the fire that gave birth to the island is not so distant in time. It stands as a monument to patience and process, proof that life, given time and protection, can flourish even on bare rock. Surtsey belongs not to people, but to the planet itself, a world still writing its own story. And that was the story of Surtsey, the island born from fire and sea, a living reminder of Earth's power to create, destroy, and create again. From molten lava to a green island alive with birds, Surtsey shows us that every beginning starts with change. Thank you for joining us on Little English Studio. If you enjoyed exploring the wonders of Surtsey and the mysteries of our natural world, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. We'll see you next time, where another incredible story from Earth's past awaits.